What's going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, break it down on what really influenced it today, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's get right to it. So today it did pull down 2.19%, very little volume, 22.3 million shares were traded, 38 is the average. So big money has been avoiding Lucid for the greater part of about 3 or 4 consecutive days. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you do see a couple big transactions such as 2.7, 1 million, 1.2 million. But based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price, all of these transactions were sells. So anything that does show a bid is a sell. So over the last little bit, there has been a lot of selling that's been happening. Even looking at the dark pool, you can't really tell if these are buys or sells because you don't really see the bid or the ask. But big money isn't really using the dark pool either. So in both comparisons, like I don't know what it will take for people to really buy Lucid. I think a lot of people are just waiting for the next big thing, which aka is the gravity. So Lucid has been doing a very good job of showcasing that. So they've done a lot of events. I think one of which was the Geneva, that was the most recent one, but they've done a lot of PR events about the gravity. But when it comes down to it, even on one of their previous posts, I even just retweeted, I said, okay, yeah, this is good. But when is the damn reservations going to open up? Like supposedly, like in a good maybe 6 months from now, you're supposed to be starting the actual production. So this is probably the shortest time frame they've ever done so far since they started, unless they're trying something new maybe. But they do a lot of PR about the gravity, but yet I don't know. So I feel like a lot of big money is just waiting on the sidelines for them to open up the gravity reservations. But then again, what do I know? Today, there has been no news. So the last news that did come out was on the 15th. That was correlated to, it looks like, just the price reductions. SEC filings, there was a couple Form 4s that was submitted after hours. So it does show a lot of the VPs, or at least 4 VPs. So Gagnon, Peter, good old Peter Rawlinson, Michael Bell, and Eric Bach all did sell, but it was correlated with taxes, so it's not really that big of a deal, at least to me. But with that being said, though, I feel like with this Form 4 and a lot of these Form 4s, it does show that Peter hasn't really done jack all. And what I mean by that is looking here. So these are all the insider transactions. And one common thing that you do not see among any of the insiders is essentially them buying using their own money. You see right here, the PIF using transaction code P, meaning they did buy physically. So it wasn't awarded shares or anything. Of course, they wouldn't be awarded shares, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? They physically did just buy using their own money. Peter has never done that once. So let's just kind of narrow that down and look at Peter. So these are all the transactions that have occurred regarding Peter. Most of them are for tax purposes, and you do see a couple exercising of options, but he has never put in $1 of his own money and bought the stock, because you do not see any transaction code Ps. So I feel like this is just not a really good sentiment booster. And plus, just to point this out, just to go over here. So this is the current ownership based on last submissions. So it does show 1.71 billion held by institutions. Majority, of course, is the PIF. Strategic entities, 42.24 million. And then other, aka retail, owns 549.71 million shares. So if you think about it, like retail owns a good chunk of the float. And so when it comes down to rallying those retail investors, one good way to do that is just buy the damn stock. I've said this time and time again. One of the best CEOs out there is Anthony Noto, CEO of SoFi. He buys and uses his own money so much. Like I don't think there's any other CEO that has bought or equivalent to what he has. And every single time he does that, stock usually goes up about 5% because people take that as bullish. Oh, the CEO is buying the stock? Hell, I'm going to buy too, because clearly something big must be coming. But the fact that Peter hasn't done anything is a very big red flag to me, at least. You guys do your own due diligence, of course, and whatever floats your boat. So going over some data points and everything else, starting off with shorts. So today's shorts did return 605.69 thousand shares. 27.81% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 243.24 million shares overall are being shorted. shorted. Interesting to note is that shorts initially were increasing roughly about, it looks like 5 million shares as soon as the market did open. But then, of course, they slowly returned, and so this is something that they have been doing time and time again. I don't know if it's just to spook the broader market or kind of change the AI or algorithmic trading for Lucid. There must be some reason why they're doing that. And then at the same time, this is, I think, now the 5th consecutive trading day, the fact that shorts did return at the end, or net amount. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I did want to bring this up, and so this was more of a PR once again for Ramadan. So Lucid was doing that, and I see this as, yes, it's good. So they're doing some pretty good advertisements, but you guys know me. I like to play devil's advocate, read between the lines. So the fact is, I noticed this, a lot of people might have just overlooked, but Dream Edition 2023 trims. Dream Edition, or I guess coming from Saudi Arabia, it's called the Kingdom Edition, like that should be already sold out. Like in North America, that went very fast. So I think it was only 500 or 550 or whatever, I forget the amount, but that went very fast. So this again kind of insinuates that there might be some demand issue. I know I bring this up time and time again, but based on the stats and the, I guess, earnings, it has really shown and proven itself. So Dream Edition, the fact that they are trying to do promotions associated to that, I see that as a very big red flag. So hopefully we'll just have to wait and see. This is one of those questions that you want to kind of lock in for this upcoming earnings when retail is able to ask questions to management. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as options, $407,000 in calls being purchased versus 816 in puts. Sentiment wise, 72% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish. And right here, looking at some of the call options that were purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above, roughly about between the 3 and 350. And for puts, it is anticipated to be sub $3. And I already went over what big money is doing behind the scenes, so if you ever want, you can always pause it and kind of look at it in a little bit more detail. But to quickly go over some technicals, so with it closing at $3.12, it is between this S1 and this pivot point right here. So 309 is a very strong support. In fact, it did bounce off of that, so we do know that's good support, and I believe it bounced off of it twice over the last couple of days as well. If it does break that, then anticipate $3 or sub $3 potentially, and then $3.26 is going to be that next strong resistance. And just to quickly go over some of the technicals and the other fun jazz that you need to know. So looking on the actual chart right here, actually I will get some good old indicators up on here. So right here, it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Still looking at the stochastic RSI, you do see it is at 30. So that is considered still somewhat oversold, but despite that though, you do see a underlying bearish sentiment. So the orange line above the blue. So all in all, I feel like right now Lucid is exhausted based on the technicals. So it most likely does need to continue to trend down, at least in the short term, and hopefully try again based on the Elliott wave technicals. For those of you that do like the Elliott wave and all the other fun jazz, it does have that pivot point being $3.92. So for as long as it is trading below that, then it is anticipated to hit roughly $2 in the short term. And if it is able to gain some momentum and stay above that 392, this is where potentially you could see that $4.89, at least in the short term. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? And what is your thoughts, for instance, on Peter not buying? I know, again, these 4's that did come out today, not really that big of a deal. It does suck, but it is what it is. A lot of CEOs and insiders do sell for tax purposes, so this isn't anything crazy. But the fact that Peter hasn't actually bought any shares, do you see that as a big deal, or am I just overreacting? What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, take advantage of this promo as I always share with you. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.